Welcome to another hour of CBS Sports HQ. Jeremy St. Louis, happy to have you along. We're set to talk football, and as you saw already, big news today with Baker Mayfield finding a new home in Carolina. We're going to discuss potential new homes for some of the top remaining free agents, starting with a newly crowned Super Bowl champion and a former Mayfield teammate. We're, of course, talking about Odell Beckham Jr. Beckham was released by the Browns in the middle of last season. Then he signed with the Rams. He was a force during their Super Bowl run, catching 21 passes for 288 yards and 2 touchdowns before tearing an ACL in that 23-20 victory against Cincinnati in the showcase game. He finished the season with 44 receptions for 537 yards and 5 touchdowns overall, and his first Super Bowl ring, of course, with the Rams. Odell headlines a list of the top remaining free agents. A few wide receivers on this list: Julio Jones, T.Y. Hilton, Cole Beasley, Blake Jarwin at tight end, and some defensive players like JPP and Donta Hightower. All right, so let's talk about some best fits for these players. And to do that, we welcome in CBS Sports NFL writer Tyler Sullivan. Sully, the Rams and Beckham have broken up, but, I mean, they're still in love. Odell crashed Sean McVay's wedding back in June. The team has said if there was no salary cap, they'd have signed him ages ago. But if they can't get a deal done and he's out, where else would he be a good fit?
Yeah, I'm right with you, Jeremy. I think that the Rams are still in this. I still think that there's love in the air. It could, spring eternal when training camp runs around. You never know. And I don't think it's going to be Carolina. I think that now that Baker Mayfield's there, I think that relationship has kind of squawked any possibility, if there was ever one, for OBJ landing in Carolina. But for me, I'm looking at the Green Bay Packers. For me, that's a team that Odell Beckham should have on his radar, and that's a player that the Packers should have on their radar. They were a team that was in the Odell Beckham sweepstakes last year when he was released from the Cleveland Browns, and he was making that decision: do I go to Los Angeles? Do I join Bill Belichick in New England? Or do I join the eventual back-to-back MVP in Aaron Rodgers? Ultimately deciding to go to LA, proved to be right. He won a Super Bowl. But now, over the stretch of that time, you've seen the Green Bay Packers get worse at the wide receiver position. Obviously, trading away Devontae Adams in that blockbuster with the Las Vegas Raiders. They did bring in Sammy Watkins. They drafted players. They do have Allen Lazard and some of those go-to guys for Aaron Rodgers, but they're still lacking that legit high-level, high-talent option that, when healthy, Odell Beckham brings to the table. If he is that player that we saw in the postseason with that immediate rapport with Matthew Stafford, with Aaron Rodgers, that's something that should be very intriguing to the Green Bay Packers. And because they don't have that legit number one option right now, I do think that they'd be more comfortable than other teams saying, hey, listen, we can wait. We feel like we're going to be competitive later on in the season, that you can recover from your torn ACL from the Super Bowl. We only really need you to that second half of the year, almost treat you like as a trade deadline acquisition. So for me, I feel like that's a perfect spot for them to be saying, hey, listen, he's talented enough that we can wait, and he could be a factor come the postseason.
It could be a great fit, as you mentioned, with Aaron Rodgers there in Green Bay. All right, another.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.